Hello everyone, welcome to Mark Wong Animation again. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to, sorry I shouldn't say teach you guys. Today I'm going to show you guys how I would do some constraints. For example, when you are holding a hammer. Now I'm going to bring in a beta rig from Agora Studio. It's free that you can download it. Agora spells as Agora. So here we have Beta, which is a really cool character. It has IK hands. Now one thing, actually let's just stick with the constraints. I'm going to bring in a prop. Let's make a cylinder. Okay, so this is a cylinder, and then we're going to make this really long. Let's put 15. So now, I've seen a lot of videos. I'll show you different ways, and I'll show you my way of doing it, okay? We want to make him do a baseball bat swinging animation. So what we need to do is let's pose him correctly. Something like that, okay? Let's don't mind the legs, whatever. I'm just going to pose it. Let's do that. Don't judge me on this because constraint is the main topic. And here we have an audience, Vanessa. Vanessa, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Right, I'm good. So I'm going to put this stick back to 0. We want to create a few controls on it. Let's create a few circle. Now, usually you will want a few circles. So the first one I'm going to call it, what should I call this? Should I call this stick? Stick. And then the first one I'm going to call it world. And then the next one I'm going to call it stick. I can't even spell. Stick layout. Sorry, local. And then the last one I'm going to call it stick COG. The good thing about these locator is, I'll show you why. I'm going to constrain the stick to the last one. Okay. Just so I have a habit, I'm just going to set a key. Wait a minute, the other way around. Stick cylinder. There. Just to make it a habit, I'm going to set a key and make sure this is blank parent 1. Now the good thing about this is you can constrain it and you can still rotate the rod around. I'm gonna put a tip on top so we can see what's the difference, okay? So let's say he's holding a T bar in here, okay? T-shaped bar. Let's make it a hammer. How about that? Let's make it a hammer. Cool, man. There you go. There. Alright. Let's put it under here. There. Cool. The good thing about this is you can rotate it even when you constrain on hands. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna position this hammer maybe somewhere around here. And then I'm gonna position my hands. Let's close this. There, right? You know, one thing I don't like doing parenting. Sorry, not parenting. I don't wanna parent the geometry under the locator. It's because I can scale the locator anytime I want, and it won't affect the geometry. So let's do that, right? There. Cool. So now we have 3 levels of controls, which is nice and clean. Let's animate his fingers too. So it's like holding onto something. There, okay. Now we want to position another hand on here. Ugh. Okay, cool. So now we have this. Some people like doing this. Selecting the hand, selecting the hammer, constraint, maintain offset. They do that, right? So they are swinging one hand and you control the other arm, and you select whatever. For example, like this world, and then you select the hand, and you do that. So now you're animating one hand and you control the other arm, but there's one kind of setup. And, it's fine if you don't plan on doing anything extra. Or you can set up some locators. Let me show you. So I have some locators here. I'm going to name them left hand pivot. And then the second one, I'm going to name it left hand IK. Same thing here, right hand pivot, right hand IK. Now think about this. You constrain, so the pivot, of course you have to match it to the hammer. So I'm going to constrain the pivot here, right? And I'm going to constrain this guy over here. So this pivot is going to follow the stick. And now things is going to get complicated. Let's say you're sticking with using this hand, controlling the hammer, and you want to add a pivot on top of this hand. First, you want to move this pivot down here, right? And then you want to match the locator to the hand. So there. Okay. So now you want to constrain this hand using that. You want to constrain this guy. So the locator is going to control the hand. So locator, hand, apply. So now this pivot is going from the middle of the rod, the stick, the handle. And then you want to, you see this is just getting complicated. And then you want to constrain this guy, the hand, this guy to this guy. This is how I would do this. So you controlling the stick, and you control one hand, and inside you still have a pivot, okay? But listen, scratch all that. I'm going to show you my correct way of doing this. In the end, we want to animate this one prop, and it control two hands, and you still have the pivot. Vanessa, are you following me so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay, a little bit. Okay. So now I'm selecting the prop. I'm going to create one locator that follow the props. Okay. And then you'll see why I'm doing this. Let's put this guy over here. Okay. This is prop, hand, prop, constraint. So now if you move this guy, I'm gonna put these two locators underneath. Okay. So let's just double check. The right hand pivot is around the right hand, the left hand pivot is around the left hand. The right hand locator is matching the right hand IK handle. Let's match the left hand locator to the left IK control. And then we're going to constrain the IK to the locator. Okay? So what you see now is, once I move this around, why is it not doing the handle? Select key handle, select control, there. So now you see when I'm moving this prop, it's moving both hands. Now I want to swing it. For example, it reaches to this area, this position. And you can see the arm, the right hand is really odd. So in this case, we want to select the right hand pivot, set a key at 0 because this looks comfortable. Go to frame 25 and you simply can just rotate the pivot and you position his hand comfortably. Look at this. Right? And then why do we need this? Because if you want to do something like, okay, let's make this looks better. So let's say it's around here. And then it's gonna swing like that, for example, right? Like that, okay? And then after that, he's gonna readjust his hand pose because human does that, right? You can do this, slide the pivot up so it holds closer. And in between, oh, I want the hand to come out for a little bit and then re-grab it. This is what you can do. So his fingers will start to release, there, and then re-grab. Right, I know this animation is not the best, it's pretty mechanical, but this is how we would do this. Now, why do I have to add these controls over here? Because sometimes when you are animating a sword, for example, we want to make sure the blade is pointing in the right direction, and this is kind of like a little cheat. For example, you can rotate it like that. See? So the hammer is always facing the right way. And sometimes you're using the left hand to hold it, and the right hand is just pivoting from it. And using this kind of setup is really convenient and efficient. You have any question, Vanessa?
So all of those controls are animated separately, like it's like a translate control, rotate control, and then like a scale control? Like for the hammer?
For the hammer, no, I didn't really scale it.
Yeah, but you have all of
I
those
have,
three controls
right.
just in case,
I have,
or
yeah, I have
to
these
animate
controls.
separately?
Yes, so I'm using the world to animate in this case, and then the local is just so it spins around if I need to cheat it. And then this guy, you can just use it in case you want to add some kind of this motion. Or in case, oh, I want to hold the hammer lower, and you can do that just as a cheat.
Oh,
But
okay.
I always animate world and then use the local as a spin. So when I
Right.
animate a trident in Aquaman, they really want the trident to face a certain way. They don't want it flat, for example, right?
Yeah.
You know, they want a trident to, like face this way when he's holding it like that, right? It can't face like flat, because if it face flat, it's kind of funny, right? This is more
Yeah.
appealing. So using that rotate is important. You don't want to use this last one to constrain onto the hand, because let's say if we use this last one to constrain, we are rotating this guy, and then we are rotating both pivot, which is like doubling the work.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it would like crash over keys.
Crash? What do
Like
you
it's
mean?
like yeah, like it would be like double values if you did that.
Yeah, that's what I want to avoid. You don't want to counter animate.
Yeah.
Now you gotta be prepared, because sometimes people doesn't like how the prop is sliding inside his hand. So once you use this control to cheat, somehow you have to always animate the pivot. but you have more control over it because you're moving like three objects. You're just trying to match it visually,
Right.
right? You don't want it to feel like both hands are sliding and the hammer in this case is rotating by itself. So
Yeah.
that's what you try to avoid.
Alright, okay.
Okay, but I think this setup is one of the best because you can have a pivot and your hand can come off and readjust as you want.
So are you only animating the parented locators?
Yeah, I'm
Like
only
the
animating
child?
these locators now. For the trident, for the hammer, I'm using the controls itself.
Wait, so how do you pick like which locators would be able to animate? Because
So I have this prop constraint, hand prop constraint. It's gonna always following the world of the locator of the hammer, of the prop.
yeah.
Let me scale these out. Oops. I can't scale these out. Oh, I can't scale it out. Hide this guy. Oh, these are so small. I should have scaled it out. I can do this now. Hang on. So now you can see this prop is in the middle and it's always following the world control, right? Because I want to use these two as a cheat, right? Let's not touch these two. So
Yeah.
this world is controlling the hammer and also controlling this constraint tree. Now this middle one is always on, constraint on, and because these locators, they are parented under the constraint locator, so you don't have any limits to it. You can always animate it.
Right.
So now this right hand pivot stays right in the middle of the rod, so you can rotate it because once we match the locator to the IK, it already have an offset to it, and you can rotate it and it reacts like this.
Yeah. And so you use like the child of that parented locator to move the arm out?
I use the IK to move the arm out
Oh,
because the IK is matching to the IK hand,
okay.
right? So if you do that, it's actually controlling the IK handle.
Yeah, so that locator becomes
The animation.
like the control for the IK hand that's gonna be
Yes,
straight.
yes.
Okay.
Because once you stick it, the most basic constraint is you constrain the hand straight to the prop, and in that case, your hand is actually glued to the prop and you can't animate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't want to constrain on and off, and it becomes a little too much. So using this
Right.
constraint, you have a constraint top locator sticking to the prop, and then you have these sub locators. They are not constrained to anything. You can just animate it.
Okay.
And I would say always remember I'll say you just gotta practice a little bit. You know, the system is here and it's recorded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you have any questions, if any YouTube viewer watching this and you have questions, please drop me a message. Okay. Talk to you guys later. Hope this is helpful. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Mark.